drink. The show you're about to watch might just stink. To turn off a show is a crime because it's action time.
It's action time. It's action time.
Hey, welcome back to another killer episode of It's Action Time. Metal Edition.
Yeah.
Metal, baby. Hey, in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about Slayer. One of the hardcore of hardcore metal bands.
You can go to any show and someone's going to yell, Slayer!
It doesn't matter if you're at a Depeche Mode or Quiet Riot, somebody's yelling Slayer somewhere. They're just
you could be at Barry Manilow and someone's yelling Slayer.
Yeah. I'm actually got a personal story that I'll relate here in just a few minutes about me and Slayer, which I thought was dude, it was one of the coolest things I'd ever had experienced. So I'll relate that story in just a few minutes. But tell me about Slayer. Tell me, what's their deal, Brian?
They're evil.
They're evil.
They're evil. You know, they were like, I admit I don't know a lot about their early history, but I believe they were like influenced by, you know, Venom. What are some other bands that, I think Venom was probably one of their main influence.
Probably one of their bigger ones, I think, was Venom.
Yeah, because, you know, they were a band trying to invoke, like, you know, a lot of satanic imagery.
Very much so. Christian imagery and it's absolute opposite.
Which is weird since, you know, Tom Araya is a Catholic.
I'm noticing a theme here.
Probably just for shock value.
Yeah, that's, you know, I mean, look at a lot of those shock rockers.
Yeah,
Alice Cooper is a Christian too, and he's doing it.
Absolutely, Alice Cooper is very much a Christian, and he is very. You know, you go to one of his shows, and there's symbology everywhere across his show, and a lot of it is dark. So I can see. Yeah, I mean, Slayer's very much like that, where it's very dark imagery, it's very brutal, and it's very captivating, I guess would be a good word, where it just kind of sucks you in with all of that. It's like, well. You're constantly doing that, where you're kind of like at a loss for words, listening to the music, going to the shows, and seeing all of this brutal imagery up in front of your face, and death and destruction and what have you.
I mean, at the beginning, they were, you know, they were on the cusp of being like hardcore punk.
Very much. They were brutal in the beginning.
They were pretty they were really fast, and, you know, a lot of their stuff was like indistinguishable. But I mean, I remember getting my first Slayer tape.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I got it at a local Ben Franklin. Which is really weird. So here I am at Ben Franklin, which is like a craft store, and I'm buying Slayer South of Heaven.
Yeah, just a little South of Heaven.
And then I remember going home, and I put the tape in, and I'm like,
while you're knitting,
I'm going to hell.
That's why you really went to the store. You're picking up some more yarn.
Black and red. So.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
I was.
He was going to be stitching up a nice little scarf that was going to have, you know, some red pentagrams at the bottom.
No, there goes your Afghan, Matt.
Do you like my scarf?
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember, you know, popping that tape in, and then, you know, you hear the first, like, the introduction to South of Heaven, and I'm like, I'm going to hell.
I'm going straight there, man. I'm going to be listening to this forever, and we're just a straight trip south.
I can't be listening to this, like, in the dark. I'm like, this scares the crap out of me.
Absolutely. I think a lot of their stuff was meant to just kind of scare individuals into doing whatever. But a few years ago, a buddy of mine took me to a concert, and we got to run around backstage. He's a photographer, and Matt actually knows him as well.
Oh yeah.
We were down in
following. At a
I'm telling you, that guy is a guy to follow at a concert if you can keep up, because he's a little firecracker. He's he really is.
Yeah.
I went with him to a couple of different festival concerts, and he had a list of about 15 bands that he wanted to see, and he also he shoots for different magazines and what have you. And there were something like, I don't know, 60 or 70 bands playing in like 5 or 10 different stages. His record now is 47 bands in a day that he actually got pictures of. He is on fire when he really goes, and he was just on fire that day. But we were down in San Diego watching. We were at Metal Fest, I think, something metal, and we happened to be backstage. And he knows a lot of these guys from shooting them from various magazines and going to their concerts and talking to the guys and stuff. He's been doing it since like the early 80s, and we happen to be at Slayer's tour bus, and their bassist is standing there, and he goes, "Hey, come on board. Let's hang out for a little while. Take some pictures and stuff." So what does he do? He brings out a big old bottle of Jägermeister, and I'm going, "Oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do that." My buddy doesn't.
do that.
Yeah, my buddy doesn't drink. He doesn't drink at all. He's very much a very, I don't want to say goody two shoes, but he's a very honest Christian. I mean, he's just, and he plays guitar, and he's just a wonderful guy.
Straight edge.
Very, very straight edged. And I mean, he's so straight edge. The guy's got no tattoos, and he's been around guitarists and singers and bands forever. So, the Slayer's bassist, what does he do? He pours 3 shots. And I'm like, I'm going to be doing shots with Slayer. This is awesome. Boom. He goes, "All right, boys, down the hatch." And my buddy picks up his, and he looks at me, and I'm like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll take that." So I slam one back, and he looks at me, and as the bassist kind of, he tips it back, I look over and I grab my buddies, and I'm like, let's suck that down real quick, and I hand it back to him. And he's like, "Wow," yeah, he kind of brings it down. He's like, "Yeah, that was good." I think we did 2 more rounds of shots with them, and then we
stumbled out.
We kind of stumbled out at that point. I stumbled out, but Slayer's bassist at that point, he was fine. He was hanging out and doing whatever. But I was a little worse for the wear at that moment. I probably spent about a good 25 minutes with the guy on his bus. It was really fun.
Yeah,
it was cool.
And that's your Matt. What's your Slayer story?
Come on, Matt. You know you got one.
Well, fun fact.
Fun fact.
No.
Fun fact. I don't have one.
Yeah. All right, boys and girls. Well, hey, leave a comment down below about Slayer.
Yeah.
Because we know you got them. We know you got
Tell
them.
us your love of Slayer.
How did you find Slayer? How did you come to know the fabulous?
How did you introduce Slayer to your parents
or your children?
Yes.
All right, boys. Well, hey, let's do this again next week, where we're going to be talking about anthrax and not the disease.
Not the disease.
Not the disease.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, we're recording. Let's. Yeah, you're watching the show, whatever.
Yeah.